couple weekends now with Elise as your setter. Just how much more comfortable do you think everybody is operating with her in the middle there?
Yeah, I mean, you're just changing your quarterback, right? So I just think there's a different rhythm. I think there's different choices, that are made that maybe Hannah would do differently. So I think it takes a little bit of time just to get used to that. Elise is an excellent setter. Again, we're blessed to have the depth that we've had. I think she showed that this weekend. I thought she was great. And offense was not why we split this weekend, right? Offense was good enough to go 2-0. But I thought Elise, did her job, and I think we do look a lot more comfortable. Yeah.
You said in previous weeks that your depth was going to be a benefit. As long as the people who might not have been in the rotation then kind of rose up and were challenged by that and challenged the other people in the lineup. How did Elise handle that? Obviously, you were using her to take advantage of her serve and things like that. But just how did she keep herself ready for this?
Yeah, I really didn't see any difference from Elise. So I think she just was very steady. She just did what she did. I mean, she's very confident in her abilities, which as a setter, you want her to be. And I want her to be that way also. Again, for a few weeks, our toughest competition was the other side in practice. And I think that's a pretty neat thing, and that's led by Elise on that side. So now she gets her chance, to be with the starting group, and I think she's making the most of it. And she's a great leader in our department, in our community, let alone our team. So I think she's ready for that.
A lot of buzz, obviously, with game day being here before the football game. I mean, soccer's at home, you guys are at home, football's at home. Do you feel like you guys can kind of benefit from that energy? Obviously, a great crowd Friday will tell the true tale, but can you guys benefit from that buzz?
I mean, I think what we've seen from our group is we like big crowds, especially at home. I thought we played some of our best volleyball at that Stanford match. And then the Arizona's the next weekend, good crowds, and I thought we looked really good. So I think we would like that, game day here. Again, we're University of Oregon, man, Ducks, football, big game against UCLA. Colorado and Utah, I think, are both tournament teams, for us this weekend, so that's huge. I think we just played, 6 tournament teams in a row. That's what we do, and so we get to be home to do that, and we're excited about that. But, yeah, I think everybody's excited to be here in town. It's going to be a busy campus and a lot of good energy.
The whole, since fall camp we talked to your team, they were very provident about, winning a Pac-12 championship. And when you have one of your starting players go down, just do you feel like the team has reacted to that? I know those first 2 games after, hard mentally, emotionally, losing in 5, but after this past weekend, how do you feel like they've reacted and kind of overcome that adversity?
Yeah, I feel like people try to do more in different areas to make up when, again, the belief that Elise is really good. And again, she's shown that. But just keep playing your game. And when we play our game, we're really strong. And, again, the timing of then you go right on the road and you play at Wazoo and in Washington, our best days, those are tough matches for us. And I thought we played well enough to win both of those, and we didn't. But I think we were just pressing. I thought our serving the last 2 weeks was horrible. And it really just put us, in a really tough place. We sided out great, both weekends, but just not enough defense for us, which is shocking to say that because we've been, I think, one of the best defensive teams in the country for a little while now. But we just didn't serve well enough, and then our defense we were just leaning back on that. So I thought third set of UCLA, when we were down, Brooke went back and had a nice service run for us, and I thought she kind of changed the game for us. And then Elisa Gee followed that up, and then Daly McClellan followed, and then you could kind of feel that momentum of we're kind of getting over it, and just getting back to what we do. Colby Neal and Morgan Lewis came in, and they provided really good defense with their block for us. And then all of a sudden, it kind of looked like us again, with a really good offense, but now our defense is doing what it needed to do to slow them down enough. And I think we just kind of had to get over that, and it was just kind of a long period for that to happen against 3 really good teams on the road. But I think we looked more like us those last few sets, and hopefully that just carries over.
You do want to be aggressive with your serve, it seems like, traditionally. So was that being too aggressive? Was it just not execution?
I really actually didn't want them to be aggressive there for a while. I mean, it was just like Washington State, Washington, USC, there's just rotations where I think they struggle, and we just wanted a good ball in that rotation to a certain spot. And it was just kind of like a mental block, which I've never really seen from our group before. And it was just unfortunate timing for that. But again, just to be able to, and it started against UCLA too. I mean, it was just kind of a really rough stretch for us when it came from the service line. And a lot of different people. It wasn't just 1 or 2 people. It was a group, and it was just kind of contagious. And that made it really tough. Again, we were scoring really well, but just not providing any pressure with our serve. And those teams are very good on offense, so that was brutal for us. But again, it was nice to see us kind of snap out of it, led by Brooke in that third set at UCLA. And now it's looked better in practice. So just maybe we relax a little bit more, calm down, and execute a little bit better.
Do you feel like a lot of the changes, that have happened these past 2 weekends, you guys were on a pretty good roll up until, going to Washington. Do you feel like it's more like physically working on things in practice, or do you feel like it's more some mental things?
I mean, the serve for sure was mental. And I thought the rest of our game was pretty good. Again, it's hard to set up a good block and then set up a good floor defense if your serve is as weak as ours was, for a couple matches. I think that was very mental. Again, in practice the day before, they're serving lights out. So it's just one of those things. Part of it, I think, is, how are we handling ourselves on the road in a tough road environment? Obviously, we need to be better at that. And we tried to do that in the preseason, is put ourselves in some tough situations and see how we can handle that. And we just didn't respond very well the last 2 weekends. So, again, I like that. I feel like we got through it. And I don't think it cost us as much as it potentially could have. I think we're still in a good position. I think our best volleyball is ahead of us, and I'm hoping that Friday will be a good start to that.
To that point, with everything you've been going through the last 2 weeks, maybe it kept you guys from thinking too big picture too much. But, only a few weeks left in the season. I don't know, 5 or 6 years. So, are you starting to think RPI, rankings, positioning for postseason, all that, or is it still match to match, week to week in your mind and with your team?
Yeah, I think as a group overall, I think it is a pretty mature group. And it's good. We're a good volleyball team. We do a lot of things really well. We really executed poorly the last 2 weeks from the service line. Really, other than that, I don't have any issues or anything going on. No red flags, no nothing like that. But I did remind the group. Brooke brought me into the huddle and she said, "It's your turn to say something." And I said, "Okay, cool." And my message was, we really need to do a better job of just taking 1 point at a time. And I do think sometimes you can get caught up in the stuff, especially when you're good, and I think for us, we needed that reset a little bit. And again, it took us a while, but I think we got into it and started playing more volleyball that we want to play.
After the last game, you seem like you're the team's a little bit more back on track. After Friday's game, kind of going into Sunday, what are some things that you want to see other than from the service line that really is going to prove that you guys are on that backtrack to just really being able to win a Pac-12 championship?
Yeah, from an offensive standpoint, from a service standpoint, we're passing great. And even when, we took Mimi out of it a little bit, and Brooke and Georgia were passing too, they handled it so well against really good serving teams on the road. And our offense, I think, is on pace, you can correct me, to be the highest offense we've ever had at Oregon. I think we're at 291, 289, I think is the record. So, you can't be upset about any of those things. We're scoring from everywhere, back row, front row. You're getting a lot of different people involved. So I think for us, it really is just, can we limit the opponents? Because of the way we served, we could never get any gap. You could never get any separation. It was just side out, and you're just hoping you side out so that you can just stay in the match. So our defense was really a big letdown the last couple of weeks, and I truly believe that we can turn that around quickly. And I think we did, and I think you're going to see our best ball.